Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're not just scratching the surface here.
No, definitely not.
We are grabbing a sledgehammer and just breaking right through the concrete.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because we're looking at what is arguably one of the most pivotal, heart-stopping moments in television history. We're talking about Breaking Bad, specifically the episode titled Blood Money.
And honestly, if you were to pick a single episode that serves as the absolute fulcrum for the entire series.
Right, the turning point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The moment where the door just slams shut on the fun, caper aspect of the show and opens onto this chaotic, tragic finale. This is it.
It's the beginning of the end.
It really is.
So we're breaking down Blood Money, which is the 9th episode of the 5th season. But before we get into all the heavy stuff, let's set the stage a little bit.
Good idea.
Because for those of us who were watching this live back in 2013, the context was just everything.
Oh, totally.
This wasn't just next week's episode.
No, not at all. This was the mid-season premiere. I mean, it aired on August 11th, 2013. And fans had been waiting.
Agonizing, really.
Agonizing for months, just waiting to see the fallout of that massive cliffhanger from the previous half season.
Hank on the toilet.
Exactly. And we're talking about the 55th episode overall here. The anticipation was just palpable. It felt less like a TV show returning and more like, I don't know, a cultural event.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the creative team clearly knew the weight of this hour.
They definitely did.
The episode is written by Peter Gould, who's obviously a legend in this universe, having created Saul Goodman. But what I find most interesting is the director.
Oh, this is a great detail.
Right. It was directed by none other than the man himself, Bryan Cranston.
Which I think adds a really fascinating layer of metatextual authority to the episode.
How do you mean?
Well, you have the leading man, the person who embodies Walter White, actually stepping behind the camera. He's framing the shots. He's controlling the pacing. It creates this sense that Walter White isn't just controlling the drug trade.
He's controlling the narrative of his own destruction.
Precisely.
Mm.
It feels claustrophobic in the best way possible.
That is such a compelling way to view it. It's almost like we are trapped in his headspace because he is literally the one calling the shots behind the scenes.
Literally.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to unpack how this single hour of television pivots the entire series from a secret double-life drama into a full-blown confrontation thriller.
We're going to analyze the plot mechanics, sure.
Right.
But we're also going to look at the heavy symbolism. I mean, we've got oranges, we've got graffiti, we've got these distinct color palettes.
So much to dig into.
And we need to talk about the acting choices that turn small moments into absolute monuments.
And we really want to make a promise to you, the listener. By the time we're done here, you're going to understand exactly why the phrase "tread lightly" became one of the most iconic lines in the history of the medium.
It's not just a cool line.
No, it's a thesis statement for the final season.
Absolutely. It's the moment the mask falls off completely.
So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into the cold open. Because Breaking Bad is famous for its cold opens, right?
Oh, yeah. Usually they're weird or funny or, abstract.
But this one
feels like a punch in the gut.
it really does. It's a flash forward.
It is. It's a glimpse of absolute ruin. We see this car pull up, and out steps a disheveled Walter White.
Looking totally different.
Yeah, he's got a full head of hair, a thick beard, dirty glasses. He looks like a drifter.
Yeah.
And he's arriving at his own house on Negra Arroyo Lane, but it's not the house we know.
The visual storytelling here is just stark. I mean, the house is abandoned, it's dilapidated.
Yeah.
There's a chain link fence around it, which is the universal symbol for condemned or crime scene.
Exactly.
It looks like a place where something terrible happened, and the world just decided to fence it off and forget about it.
It's a haunted house. That's
Yeah.
essentially what Cranston and the cinematographer, Michael Slovis, are showing us.
Wow, yeah.
The American dream that Walt was supposedly fighting for. It's rotting. The landscaping is dead. The paint is peeling. And the detail that really sells it for me is the swimming pool.
Oh, the pool. We've spent so much time in that backyard throughout the series.
So much time.
We've seen family BBQs. We've seen Walt sitting there contemplating his life. We've seen matches tossed into the water. It was the center of their domestic life.
And now it's empty. It's full of debris and dirt. And you have these teenagers skateboarding in it.
A classic symbol of suburban decay.
Right. It tells you immediately that the White family is gone. The domestic life is over. The pool, which used to be this symbol of status and leisure, has just been reclaimed by the chaos of the street.
And that wasn't subtle enough. We walk inside with Walt. The house is stripped bare. But then the camera pans to the living room wall.
Massive yellow spray paint. Heisenberg.
It's jarring. It's like a brand. The secret identity has literally been graffiti tagged onto his home. The separation between Walter White, the mild-mannered teacher, and Heisenberg, the drug lord, has completely collapsed.
Yeah.
The outside world knows.
Precisely. The house is physically marked by his sins. And in the middle of this ruin, Walt is on a mission.
He's not just there to reminisce.
No, he's looking for something specific. He goes to the bedroom, finds the outlet plate, unscrews it, and retrieves that tiny vial of ricin.
The MacGuffin returns.
Yes.
That ricin vial has been a lingering threat for seasons. It's been in a cigarette, it's been in a frantic search, and now it's back.
And let's define that for a second. A MacGuffin is usually an object that drives the plot but doesn't matter much itself.
Right.
But in Breaking Bad, the ricin is more like Chekhov's gun. If you show a vial of poison in Season 2, someone has to take it by Season 5.
That's a great point.
Walt retrieving it signals unfinished business. You don't retrieve a lethal poison unless you intend to use it. It sets a tone of calculated violence right from the start.
But before he leaves this ruin, we get this incredible, tense, and slightly darkly comic interaction with the neighbor, Carol.
Oh, poor Carol.
Yeah, she's just carrying her groceries, probably thinking about her day. She sees this drifter, realizes it's Walt.
Who she clearly thinks shouldn't be there.
Right, and she just freezes.
And this is where the show loves to play with cinema history. Carol drops a bag of oranges in fear. They spill and roll across the driveway. It's such a specific visual.
It is, and it's almost certainly intentional. Critics and film buffs immediately jumped on this as a nod to The Godfather.
Exactly.
In the Godfather trilogy, Francis Ford Coppola used oranges as a harbinger of death. Remember when Vito Corleone gets shot in the street?
He's buying oranges.
Yes, and they roll across the street. When he dies later in the garden, he's peeling an orange.
So by having Carol drop the oranges, the show is signaling that death is coming. It's not just a grocery accident, it's a visual omen.
It sets a tone of inevitable doom for the rest of the episode. It tells us that despite whatever happens in the present timeline we're about to jump back to, the destination is this.
Ruin, fear, and death.
Yeah, it casts a shadow over everything that follows.
That is so heavy, but so brilliant. It creates this dramatic irony where we know the end result, so every move the characters make in the present feels futile.
So let's snap back to that present timeline. We are picking up exactly, and I mean exactly where the previous mid-season finale left off.
Right. We are in the bathroom, the most stressful bathroom break in TV history.
Seriously.
Hank Schrader is sitting there, and he has just found the copy of Leaves of Grass on the back of the toilet tank.
The book that Gail Boetticher gave to Walt.
He opens it and sees that handwritten dedication, "To WW, my star, my perfect silence."
And the handwriting matches the evidence Hank has seen in the Gail Boetticher case file.
Talk about an oh snap moment.
But what I love about this episode, and this is where the writing shines, is how it handles Hank's reaction. In a lesser show, Hank might storm out, gun drawn, and arrest Walt right there at the family BBQ.
No, and that's the realism of it. He is reeling. This is a physical blow.
Yeah.
Dean Norris does some of the best acting of his career right here without saying a word. You can see the blood drain from his face. The realization creates a somatic link between the knowledge and his physical state. He feels sick.
He literally feigns illness to get out of there, right?
Right.
He comes out of the bathroom, clutching the book, looking like he's seen a ghost. He grabs Marie and says they have to leave.
He can't look at Walt. He can't be in that house. The walls are closing in on him.
It's visceral.
And as they are driving home, the weight of it hits him. We get this visceral scene where Hank has a full-blown panic attack behind the wheel.
The sound design here is incredible. It's disorienting. Everything gets blurry. He's struggling to breathe, chest tight, and he actually swerves the car off the road into a yard.
That scene is terrifying because Hank is usually the rock. He's the tough guy.
The guy who makes the jokes.
Exactly. The one who makes the jokes, who kicks down the doors. Seeing him crumble like that, it shows the magnitude of the betrayal.
It's not just that he found a drug lord.
No, it's that his entire reality has collapsed. His brother-in-law, the man he's pitied, the man he's tried to help, the man he's had over for Sunday dinner, is the monster he's been hunting for a year.
It's the ultimate gaslighting revealed. He realizes every conversation they've had for the past year was a lie.
Exactly. And once he stabilizes, notice what happens. The cop brain kicks back in.
He goes to work.
But he doesn't go to the office. He pretends he's still sick so he can work from home. He turns his garage into a war room.
He brings in all the boxes, the DEA case files on Heisenberg, on Gus Fring. He's not going on a hunch. He needs to be sure.
He's connecting the dots. He's reviewing everything, the photos, the timelines. But the smoking gun, the thing that seals it, is the handwriting.
Right, the book.
He compares the dedication in Leaves of Grass directly with a photocopy of Gail's lab notebook.
And the visual match is undeniable.
The loops of the Y, the slant of the letters, it's a match. The verdict is in. He confirms, to his absolute shock and dismay, that Walt is Heisenberg. There is no ambiguity anymore. The blind spot is gone.
That is such a crucial distinction. Up until now, Hank always had a blind spot for Walt because he saw Walt as weak. Now he sees the predator.
Yeah.
But while Hank is having his world destroyed, what is Walt doing? This is the irony that drives the episode.
Walt is trying to live in an illusion of normalcy. He thinks he's out of the game. He has technically left the meth business. He's wearing these beige, light clothes. Very retired suburban dad.
He's trying to be the car wash king of Albuquerque.
He really is.
Yeah.
There's the scene where he's discussing with Skylar how to expand the car wash business. And the goal isn't just success, it's logistics.
Laundering.
Right. They are talking about getting a second location to launder his drug money faster. They have so much cash, they need a bigger, drier, metaphorically speaking.
It's almost mundane, right? They're talking about marketing and location scouting. It feels like a normal couple talking about their small business.
Until it doesn't.
Right, because then the underworld comes knocking. Literally. Lydia shows up at the car wash.
Lydia Rodart Quayle. She is the tether to the criminal world that Walt is trying to cut. She pulls up in a rental car, looking nervous as always, pleading for help.
Why does she need Walt? I thought the operation was running smooth with Todd and the others.
Apparently not. She tells him the quality of the meth has fallen below acceptable standards since his retirement. It's down to like 68%.
Wow, quite a drop.
Yeah, her buyers, the scary guys in the Czech Republic, are unhappy. She needs the blue magic bag. She needs the artist.
And Walt's reaction here is so arrogant. He's scrubbing a car, literally washing a tire, and he dismisses her without even looking up. He says, "I'm retired."
He thinks he can just turn it off. He thinks he can just be Walter White again. But the real power move in this scene doesn't come from Walt.
Oh, it comes from Skylar. This is a cheer at the screen moment for me.
Skylar White. She sees Lydia. She realizes who she is, this connection to the danger, and she steals in.
She doesn't hesitate.
No. She marches over and tells Lydia in no uncertain terms to leave and never come back.
It's a chilling moment because it shows Skylar isn't just a victim anymore. She's not the scared housewife from season 1.
She's an accomplice.
Yes, she's protecting their clean life with the same ferocity Walt used to protect the dirty one.
Absolutely. She's guarding the perimeter. But just as they fend off the external threat of Lydia, the internal threat reemerges. And this is where the episode takes a tragic turn for Walt, the health crisis.
Yeah, this broke my heart a little, even for Walt, which says a lot about the writing. The cancer is back.
It is. We see him in the bathroom, kneeling on a towel, vomiting, and that visual, the towel, is a direct callback to Gus Fring in the episode Salute, when Gus poisons the cartel and then purges the poison.
So Walt is mimicking Gus again.
He's absorbed Gus's traits, the neatness, the preparation, but the cancer returning, it changes the stakes. True to form, Walt engages in deception.
Naturally.
He keeps this hidden from his family. He's undergoing chemotherapy again on the sly.
Why hide it this time? In the beginning, he hid it because he didn't want to worry them or cost them money. Why now?
Control. It's always about control. He wants to maintain this image that everything is fine, that he won. Admitting the cancer is back is admitting that he's running out of time.
The clock is ticking.
Exactly. And structurally, for the story, this adds a ticking clock element parallel to Hank's investigation. Walt is dying, and Hank is hunting him. It's a race to the finish line.
So we have Walt in denial, living his beige lie. We have Hank in shock, building his case. But we have a third player who is in a completely different headspace. Jesse Pinkman.
Jesse is, well, he's in hell. He is distraught and consumed by guilt. If Walt is the brain of the operation, Jesse has always been the heart.
And the heart is broken.
It's shattered.
What specifically is triggering this spiral for him right now?
It's the accumulation of blood. Specifically, the death of Mike Ehrmantraut and the tragic death of the young boy, Drew Sharp, from the train heist. Jesse cannot reconcile the money he has, literally bags of millions, with the innocent lives that were taken to get it.
So in the outline, this section is titled The Weight of Blood Money. And that feels very literal for Jesse. He has these duffel bags of cash, but he can't stand to look at them.
He views the money as contaminated. It's radioactive to his soul. So he attempts a form of penance. He takes all the money he received from Walt, $5 million, and brings it to Saul Goodman.
And he has a very specific request for Saul, which leads to this incredible scene in Saul's waiting room. He's smoking, shaking.
He wants Saul to deliver half to Mike's granddaughter, Kaylee, and the other half to Drew Sharp's parents.
He's trying to pay for his sins. He thinks if he gives the money to the victims, it balances the scales. But Saul is the pragmatic survivor.
Saul is the reality check. He refuses. He warns Jesse that dropping millions of dollars on random families will raise immediate suspicions.
The IRS, the FBI?
Exactly. They don't just ignore $5 million appearing in a bank account. It's a legal nightmare. And being Saul, he immediately reports this erratic behavior to Walt.
Which leads to another manipulation masterclass from Walter White. Walt visits Jesse to return the money.
And this scene is painful to watch. Walt brings the money back to Jesse's house. Jesse is practically catatonic. And Walt looks Jesse in the eye and lies to him.
A bald-faced lie.
He tells Jesse that Mike is still alive, that Mike is fine and doesn't need help taking care of his granddaughter.
Why does he lie? Why not just tell him the truth at this point? Or at least not lie about Mike?
Because if Jesse knows Walt killed Mike, Jesse turns on Walt. Walt needs to control Jesse's reality to keep him pacified.
Gaslighting again.
Total gaslighting. He uses that father figure voice. Mike is alive. You need to believe me. He's banking on Jesse's trust, which is rapidly eroding.
But does Jesse believe him?
I don't think he does. Not entirely. He looks defeated, but there's a flicker in his eyes that says, I know you're lying, but I'm too tired to fight you.
But he doesn't keep the money. The breakdown continues. We see Jesse's final act in the episode, which is just tragic and surreal.
The paperboy scene.
Yes. He's driving through a low-income neighborhood at night. He's crying. And he starts grabbing bundles of cash, $10,000 a pop, and throwing them out the window.
He gives a bundle to a homeless man first, right?
He does. But then he goes further. He's throwing them onto front lawns, into driveways. He stops at a playground, spins on the merry-go-round, and just watches the world spin while lying on a bed of money.
It's a manic episode. It's a breakdown. But it's also, I don't know, it's like he's trying to purge the poison.
That is the literal interpretation of the episode title.
Yeah.
He is purging himself of the blood money. He thinks if he gets rid of the cash, he gets rid of the guilt.
It raises this massive ethical question for us as viewers. Is Jesse the most moral character because he rejects the money? Or is he just as bad because the money doesn't actually fix anything?
That's the debate, isn't it? Jesse feels the blood. Walt just calculates the ROI. It's a stark contrast. So we've got these three storylines barreling toward a collision. And that collision happens in the climax, the garage showdown.
This is one of the best scenes in the series. It's the scene the entire show has been building toward for 5 years.
It really is.
It starts with a discovery. Walt is in his bathroom, the scene of the crime, so to speak, and he notices his copy of Leaves of Grass is missing.
Now, most people would think maybe Skylar moved it or maybe it fell behind the toilet.
Yeah.
But Walt.
Never. Walt is a genius, but he's also a paranoid narcissist.
Yeah.
His survival mechanism kicks in instantly. He remembers Hank was in that bathroom. He remembers Hank left abruptly.
Putting it all together.
He connects the missing book to the timing of Hank's sudden illness. The gears start turning.
So he goes outside to check his car. It's nighttime. He crawls into the vehicle.
And there it is. He finds a GPS tracker attached to the wheel well.
A nice callback to when they tracked Gus Fring.
Exactly. It's the same type of device Hank used to track Gus. The symbolism is clear. Walt has become the new Gus Fring in Hank's eyes. He is the target.
So now Walt knows that Hank knows. Now, in a traditional show, this would be the start of a season-long cat-and-mouse game. Walt would try to act normal, Hank would try to get evidence, and they would dance around each other for 10 episodes.
Right, but Breaking Bad is relentless. Peter Gould and the writer said, no, we're not waiting. Walt drives straight to Hank's house.
He pulls up. He sees Hank in the open garage, and he gets out of the car. He still has the beige clothes on. He's still playing Walter White.
He walks up the driveway. Hank looks up, and the look on Hank's face, it's pure hatred mixed with disbelief. But they play it cool at first.
Walt asks about the tracker. He holds it up. He tries to play it off like, hey, buddy, some kids put this on my car. Weird, right?
He's testing the waters. He gives Hank an out. He's hoping Hank will lie, but Hank doesn't lie.
Hank closes the garage door. And that sound, that mechanical whirring and the thud as it hits the concrete, it cuts off the outside world. It creates a cage match. It's just the two of them.
And the lighting changes, it gets darker, more claustrophobic. And Hank doesn't hold back. He doesn't read him his rights. He punches Walt square in the face.
It's a messy punch, too. It's not a cool action movie punch. It's an angry, brotherly, desperate punch. Walt falls back, and the facade drops completely. Hank accuses him right there. It was you. All along, it was you.
He lists the crimes, the bombing of the nursing home, killing 10 witnesses in prison. He unloads 5 seasons of trauma onto Walt. He's shaking with rage. Dean Norris is just vibrating with intensity here.
And Walt's defense here is fascinating. He doesn't deny it outright in a panic. He gets very logical. He sees Hank is emotional, so he goes cold.
He goes into lawyer mode. He stands up, wipes the blood from his lip, and says, "If that's true, if I am who you say I am, it would be hard to prove." He's analyzing the case against himself in real time.
Cold as ice.
But then he plays the ace up his sleeve. He tells Hank that his cancer has returned.
He says, "I'll be dead before you can ever get me inside a jail cell."
It's a chilling calculation. He's essentially saying, is it worth destroying your family, destroying Marie, destroying the agency's reputation for a man who is already a ghost? I'm dying anyway. Let it go.
And Hank looks at him, and this line, I think, sums up the tragedy of their relationship. Hank says, "I don't even know who you are anymore."
It's the death of their friendship. It's the realization that Walter White is gone. But then comes the response. The line that defined the final season. The line that was on all the posters.
Walt's face changes. The bumbling dad posture disappears. He leans in, his voice drops an octave, and he says, "If that's true, if you don't know who I am, then maybe your best course would be to tread lightly."
Tread lightly. It is a threat. It is a command. It is Heisenberg surfacing completely. He's not pleading for mercy. He's telling the head of the DEA, you are out of your depth. You are hunting a predator that is bigger than you.
Seth Amidon of IGN praised this dialogue specifically. He called it a satisfying preparation for the endgame. And I have to agree, it sent shivers down my spine.
Oh, definitely.
It shifts the dynamic instantly. Hank thought he had the upper hand because he has the badge and the truth. But Walt reminds him, "I have the ruthlessness."
It's the perfect ending to the episode. It leaves us breathless. It tells us that the secret identity game is over. Now it's war.
What a way to end the episode. So let's zoom out a bit and talk about the production and reception, because there's a lot of interesting detail here. The episode is incredibly dense with callbacks.
Oh, it's a treasure trove for fans who pay attention. We already mentioned the Leaves of Grass book and the GPS tracker, but there's more.
Let's run through a few. We have the scene with Lydia at the car wash.
Right. Walt's conversation with Lydia mirrors his earlier conversations with Gus Fring at Los Palos Hermanos. Remember how Walt used to go to Palo, sit in the booth, and Gus would come over acting like a polite manager?
Is everything to your satisfaction?
Exactly. Now, Walt is the manager. He's the one scrubbing the tires, acting polite while the criminal comes to him. The roles are perfectly reversed. Walt has become the figure he destroyed.
And we mentioned the vomiting scene mirroring Gus and Sald, but there's a smaller one that I missed the first time, the remote-controlled car.
Yes. Hank's neighbor's kid has an RC car. We see it buzzing around the cul-de-sac. This is a direct visual callback to the episode 737, way back in the early seasons, where we see a similar RC car.
That's brilliant.
It creates the sense of circularity. We are back where we started, but everything is darker.
And one that is really subtle, the rice and cigarette.
This one is for the deep lore fans. When Jesse is in Saul's waiting room, he pulls out a pack of cigarettes. Huel, Saul's large bodyguard, gives him a look. He stares at the cigarettes.
Because Huel was the one who lifted the rice and cigarette off Jesse in season 4.
Exactly. It's a tiny moment, barely 2 seconds, but it builds the tension. It reminds us that Huel knows, Saul knows, and Walt knows, but Jesse still doesn't know how he was manipulated. It's a landmine waiting to go off.
It's incredible how dense the writing is. Every frame matters. Now let's talk numbers, because people tuned in for this.
They certainly did. According to Nielsen, Blood Money was watched by 5.92 million viewers in the U.S.
Which was a record, right?
At the time, yes. It was the most watched episode in the series history. It showed that the word of mouth had hit critical mass. People were binging the show on Netflix during the break and catching up. By the time this aired, Breaking Bad was a phenomenon.
And the critics were on board, too.
Unanimously. Dean Norris was named Performer of the Week by TV Line, and rightfully so. He had to carry the emotional weight of 5 seasons of betrayal in 1 hour. He had to go from constipated comedy to existential dread in 10 seconds.
Mark Berman of The Washington Post had an interesting take. He was surprised at how much ground was covered in Hank's plotline.
That's a key point. We are conditioned by TV to expect delays. Usually, a show would have Hank find the book, then spend 3 episodes suspecting, then 2 episodes investigating. Peter Gould and the team just said, no. He knows. He investigates. He confronts. 1 hour. It accelerated the storytelling velocity to max speed.
The Ringer also ranked it pretty high later on.
Yeah, in 2019, they ranked it the 21st best episode of this series, which, considering how many masterpieces are in the show, Ozymandias, Crawl Space, Face Off, being in the top 25 is a huge honor.
Before we wrap up the production side, there's one somber note: the dedication.
Yes. At the end of the episode, before the credits roll, there is a title card dedicated to Kevin Cordasco.
Who was Kevin Cordasco?
He was a 16-year-old superfan of the show. He was battling neuroblastoma, a very aggressive cancer. He actually got to meet the cast and crew. Bryan Cranston and Vince Gilligan visited him in the hospital.
That's amazing. Did he get to see the episode?
Sadly, no. He passed away earlier in 2013, before this episode aired. But, and this is a lovely detail, Vince Gilligan actually offered to tell Kevin how the show ends. He offered to spoil the ending just for him.
Did Kevin accept?
He declined. He said he wanted to see it for himself, or he didn't want to know if he couldn't watch it. He stuck to the integrity of the story. It's a heartbreaking but touching tribute to leave his name attached to such a monumental episode. It grounds the show in reality. These stories affect real people.
That is beautiful. So let's bring it all together. We've gone from the flash forward of a ruined future to the moment the two main antagonists, Hank and Walt, finally declared war in a garage.
This episode does the heavy lifting of dismantling the secret identity trope. It forces the characters to deal with reality immediately rather than dragging it out. It's the moment the show stops being about will he get caught and starts being about how will he fall.
It sets the stage for the final run, which is just a breathless sprint to the finish line.
And it leaves us with that lingering threat. Tread lightly. It's a warning to Hank, but it's also a warning to the audience. Brace yourselves. It's going to get ugly.
Which brings me to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We've been talking about blood money. That's the title. We saw Jesse try to give it away to cleanse his soul. We saw Walt trying to launder it to build his legacy.
Right. 2 completely different reactions to the same object. The money is the same, but the meaning changes based on who holds it.
So here is the question. Is the blood on the money the only thing keeping Jesse human? Because he feels it. He feels the weight of it. While the business of the money, treating it just as a commodity to be washed and stacked, is what finally stripped Walt of his humanity completely.
That is the tragedy of Breaking Bad. Guilt is painful. It tears Jesse apart. But guilt is proof of a conscience. It's proof of humanity. Walt has lost the ability to feel the weight of the cash. He only counts the value. He has become a machine. And machines don't have happy endings.
Something to think about as you rewatch this classic. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into Breaking Bad.
Tread lightly, everyone.
See you next time.